And as you can see on your screen today, it's how to stimulate creativity. Now, we've already gotten creative. I thought we should have named it the Creativity Stimulator. But see, that's what we mean. It's just creativity.
All we had to do is put the words up.
Yeah, well, here we go. And we're not going to bury the lead. We hate burying
and maybe a couple of other things too. Yeah.
No, we don't do that. So we're going to tell you how to do it and get it. It's no guarantee here, but we're going to stimulate things here. And if you've been around this before, maybe you've seen it, maybe you haven't. It's been around for a long time, at least my version of it. And so it's the matrix here, but you'll notice you'll notice a difference because it says notice the difference right in the middle. So and the original matrix and the original YouTube I ever made quite a few years ago was what, the psychological flexibility warm-up. And so what that is, folks, is that you look at the diagram and you say, well, I experience the world through my five senses. You can quibble about other ones, but we'll just stick with the five, the basics, okay? And so you have that. You're also experiencing yourself all the time in your mind. And so an exercise that you can do is to take up an object. And what we usually take up is a pen. And I would do it now. You can. I mean, it doesn't work not to do the object. You need to do the object, really, to do the exercise. And there it is. You can see it. So you see it right there with your eyes. You can hear it. And if that's why I picked up a click pen, because you can click it and hear it. But if you just got a big pen, you can tap on it. That'll work fine. You can, of course, smell it. See how the pen smells. Of course, it's been in your fingers the whole time, so you can feel it, right? Feel it in your fingers. Now, the last one is taste, and we don't recommend you taste it, just because you don't know where that thing's been. But, whatever. But nevertheless, now you're experiencing this object. And by the way, yeah, if you want to do a raisin, well, then you can do all of them and put the raisin in your mouth.
Right.
Taste it, do all that. So there you go. That's experiencing it through your five senses. Now, the next thing you do is you put the pen away from your five senses. So you got to hide it. And that does, and you don't stick it under your butt, on your chair, because then you feel it through your butt. Don't do that. Hide it. Cover it up with a piece of paper. It's real easy. It's what I did. Now it's gone. And now you say, okay, I can experience that pen again in my mind. So I can see it in my mind's eye. I can hear the click, click, click in my mind's ear, I guess, if you wanted to say. I can feel it. I can touch it in the fingers in my mind there. I can certainly smell it in my mind. And by the way, now that it's in your mind, it doesn't matter what it is, you can taste it because it's in your mind. And so you do that. Here comes the biggie. Is you notice the difference between your experiencing of the pen through your five senses versus experiencing it in your mind. And in that space of noticing the difference, if you hang around there a little bit, you just stimulated creativity. Whoa. And it's true. It did. Now, we'll explain what's going on later, but you don't need to.
No. No, you don't need to explain it to experience it.
No, you do that and you say, well, this sort of sounds familiar. Well, yeah, we're always being told to get back to nature, get out in nature, experience,
Smell the roses.
Yeah, smell the roses. And so what's that having you do is get out and experience with your five senses. That is, notice your five senses experiencing. Most of us plow through the day and we're not noticing our five senses.
Blissfully unaware.
We're using them, of course, to get around, stay out of the way of walls and stuff, eat breakfast and whatever. We're using them, but we're not noticing them.
No.
And we're certainly not really pausing to notice our mental experiencing of what we're doing either. Okay, we're just not. And so what that's going on, what's going on there is this is going to slow you down, and it gets you in that space between your sensory experiencing and your mental experiencing, which are happening simultaneously. But it's just, I call it a space. Is that a good word for it, Phil?
That's a great word for it. That's what I call it.
Yeah.
Gets me in the space.
And right in there, now you've gotten distance.
Yeah.
You've backed up and gotten a little bit of distance from this stuff, this sensory experiencing and this mental experiencing. You've gotten a little distance, I'm sorry. And that's where you increase the probability of creativity. Notice I said increase the probability. If it was a guarantee, we'd be selling this like Ronco.
Oh man, we would not be on this Crowdcast right now.
Yeah, no, but nevertheless, folks who do this, and when I started it, wasn't it 15 years ago or so or more? Yeah, I didn't know if it would work or not. And I and certainly wasn't up for doing experiments and stuff. So we just ran, Well, layperson's view and thousands of people we've talked to, it works. It just works. Now, the best way to think about in my opinion, the best way to think about the creativity is that you've now increased the chances that it will show up. Because if you can will yourself into being creative, more power to you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Just block schedule creativity times for yourself throughout the
day. I personally haven't had it work that way.
Nope.
It just, boom, it shows up. So what you're doing is putting yourself in the space, there's that word again, that more psychologically flexible space where you can sort of put, this together, and this together, and this together, and go, oh my, look.
Oh, wow.
They're called aha moments. Right?
Aha moments.
And they don't always show up, but at least you put yourself in that better space. Now, that's the biggie. You can also notice the difference between how it feels to be satisfied, like you got your lawn mowed or you got the dishes done or something like that, where you're like, got her done, check that off, right? Versus feeling of relief. I pulled the splinter out of my finger, or I did something and I got that feeling of, oh, that feels better. got rid of that pain. Well, that's called relief. And there's a difference between those two feelings. So you can do that as well. And guess what? Noticing the difference between those two feelings puts you in that space again. So you can do that as well. And some people enjoy doing that. But what we usually have people do is notice the difference between their sensory experiencing and their mental experiencing. So let me blabber on a little bit more of why this works, because it's based right off what Steve Hayes and company was working on those many moons ago to develop acceptance and commitment training and therapy. So the idea is language, like the stuff I'm using right now, is sticky, in particular inside your head. Would you agree, Phil?
Oh yeah, I think about it as it's renting space in my head. Birds rent space in my head.
Yeah, and it can take up a big space too.
Yep.
And it because it's sticky, and you tend to get worrying about stuff, and am I going to get there on time?
Churn over it.
And oh my God, when am I going to get creative? It's probably never going to happen.
Nope.
That kind of stuff.
No more creativity in me. It's gone.
Right. That kind of stuff. You just call it sticky. It's just sticky, and it gets you stuck in a rut. Okay. And being stuck in a rut is the opposite of being creative.
Creativity killers.
Yeah. And we all get in it. We all get stuck in these ruts. And literally the whole notion is based on the idea that language, it's in case you guys know more technical stuff, it's relational frame theory. And whether you like it or not, what it's just saying is that a lot of language has very emotional, evocative stuff to it. So if I say mom, oh my God, all kinds of stuff with mom shows up. If I say lemon, sour lemon shows up.
There you go.
Your lemonade shows up. But that's what we mean by, that's what they're getting at with relational frame theory. And a lot of it is painful, these memories that we have. Or I'm afraid I'll never be creative again. Oh no. And now we want to get relief from that. We don't know how to get relief from it. And it's real easy to get stuck in a pattern of trying to get relief. And you just can't get loose from it. And so, once again, it's not very easy to will yourself out of that. I will not be that way anymore.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, that don't work. That's like, don't think about pink elephants. Whoops. Now you're thinking about pink elephants, all that stuff.
All over the place.
So we're getting distance. We're just getting back off of that. And just a simple exercise to do that. It's like, okay, where is that pen?
I knew I hit it somewhere around here.
There it is. It's under this piece of paper right here. I can do the pen exercise. And as silly as it sounds, it breaks the cycle. It breaks that sticky language cycle just a little bit. Now, on a big measure, go take a walk in the woods, pull in the five senses.
Yeah.
But by the way, and a lot of people discover this on their own, they even have aha moments, but I'll tell you about it anyway. They will start noticing stuff through their five senses while they're taking their walk in the woods or the park, whatever. And then they'll go, oh, I can notice the difference between my sensory experiencing of taking this walk versus my mental experiencing of taking this walk. Boom. And there you go. Now you're in the space. How long do you stay in the space, Phil?
Oh, maybe a nanosecond or two.
Nanosecond's good, right? Yeah. It's devilishly hard to keep it up, folks. I mean, I'll be the first to admit. So why do I say that?
In my way, yep.
Right. So do it often. If you know, it's only going to last.
You could always pick up that pen again.
I mean, it's you're going to slip back into stuff.
Yeah, that's just the
way we are. But but I haven't ever seen anybody do this too much. Never heard it.
No harmful side effects for
doing never said, oh my God,
no overdosing on
ruined my life. All I'm doing You
Yeah.
know, 24/7 is doing the pen exercise. No,
No.
not our
Nope.
As a matter of fact, you may go a day or two without ever remembering it, or even more. But
Mhm.
it's worthy doing. It's worth doing, and you're getting into that space. Now, you in doing this might think of some other way to get into that creative space. But
Oh, yeah.
and I know there's a lot you can go out on the internet and find all
Lots of
kinds,
ways to do it.
but this will do it. And it's handy. It's easy. Five senses experiencing, mental experiencing. Notice the difference between the two.
Yep.
That's it. It's that simple. I use it, folks. I do. Yeah, I'm not joking. I use it a
Every
lot.
day.
Yeah. God, maybe one of Phil and I's claim to a happier existence is we do this a lot.
Yeah.
And it is, and then the stuff that you need to do shows up.
It shows up too. Yeah.
It just shows up, and that's creativity, right? And
Definitely.
we go, oh, I ought to do this.
Definitely. Yeah.
Well, that's
Or
creativity,
I could do it this way, or I could do it that way.
right? And now you're in that creative space. You're not stuck in a rut anymore.
Nope.
You're in that. Now, a tip of the hat to the determinist people. We will then say the three choices that you just thought of were determined.
Yeah. Yeah. They didn't come out of the ether.
That'll teach him.
Yeah.
But you didn't get one, you got three or four. Or maybe you just got one. I don't know. And by the way, folks, if you want to get philosophical, this is the most difficult spot for the determinists versus the non-determinists folks out there. This is the tough spot. Because nobody knows what's going on in that space.
Nope.
Nobody. I don't care who you are. You can do a map of the brain and watch it, neurons and stuff going in real time, but that's not letting you know what's going on in that space. So just get in it and revel in it and have a little fun and do it. And there's a lot of people who start off the psychotherapy crowd who start off sessions with the pen exercise. You heard of that, Phil?
I've done it a time or two.
They do. It's pretty cool.
Yep.
Pretty cool to do. It gets people loosened up. It's a good warm-up exercise. So do that. So have fun. Go play.
Yeah.
And we will, I don't know. Oh, we're not going to be here Friday.
No.
Because it's the day after the 4th of July.
Yeah, we're coming up on the 4th of July.
And we're not going to work that day.
Nope.
So we'll be back next Monday. We'll come up.
Yeah.
And there you go, folks. Phil and I know that we'll just keep noticing this difference between five senses experiencing and mental experiencing. We'll keep doing it, and something to do next Monday will show up.
This is our process.
It works like a charm for us.
Yep.
We don't worry about it. Not in the slightest. We don't. It'll show up.
It'll not show up. It's never happened.
Always shows up. But out in the future, you can bet your socks we'll do one called the Creativity Stimulator.
Oh my gosh, it's just begging to be a crowdcast at this point.
So all of you guys have a fun time. Happy 4th. And if you're watching this 12 years from now in February or something, have a good time too.
Really, whatever you're doing.
Whatever you're doing. Bye-bye now.
See ya.